Hi, in this lesson we're going to be discussing the regulation of the internal environment, also known as homeostasis. And we're going to be treating three organs that perform this function in mammals, that is the kidneys, the liver, and the skin. We discuss how they come together and make sure that there's a balance in the internal environment of mammals. After that, we'll be solving some questions, and then I'll be giving you a quiz and an advisory note on how to tackle like questions in the exam. So what is homeostasis? Homeostasis can be defined as the maintenance of a fairly constant internal environment in an organism. What this means is that organisms are bound to be exposed to changes in the environment. But organisms, most higher organisms especially, have a very narrow window for change. And so they try as much as possible to keep this within bounds. So that is the process which we call homeostasis. Now, factors that need to be kept fairly constant include temperature, salt concentration, acid-base concentration, pH, hormonal concentration, and concentration of proteins in the body. Also, concentration of glucose in the body has to be kept fairly constant. And there are three major organs responsible in maintaining this balance, and they are the kidney, the liver, and the skin. Now we are going to be discussing the kidney. The kidney is a bean-shaped organ that helps in maintaining the water balance or the salt balance in an organism. All mammals have a pair of kidneys that work hand in hand to make the burden lesser. The kidney has three major parts: the medulla, the cortex, the medulla, and the ureter. The major function of the kidney, like I said earlier, is maintaining the salt balance of the body. The other function it does is excretion of waste products, which is in line with the other function of maintaining the salt balance, and maintenance of the acid-base balance in the body. All these things the kidney do with its waste product known as urine. For example, when the temperature is high, the kidney needs to reduce water loss through transpiration. And how it does that is that it concentrates the urine. That is, what it allows water to be actively reabsorbed back into the body. And a hormone controls this and is known as antidiuretic hormone. This hormone helps in increasing the concentration of salt in the urine, making sure that less water is lost in urine. And this process is known as osmoregulation. Another function of the kidney is excretion, which it also does to help maintain an even balance of salt in the body. The kidneys get rid of nitrogenous waste, which could be toxic to the internal environment of the living organism, and passes it out as urine or urea, which after urea has been mixed with other components, it passes it out as urine. Other things which it deals with are also salt and sometimes little amounts of sugar. The third function of the kidney is acid-base balance. For example, when the internal environment is more acidic, what the kidney does is that it increases the concentration of acid in the urine, allowing more acid to be passed out. On the other hand, when the concentration of base is quite high in the system, the kidney is stimulated to release more of salts to balance the pH of blood. And you should know that the pH of blood is 7.4, meaning that it is very slightly basic. The neutral pH is 7, acidic tends to 0, and basic tends to 14. That's for further knowledge. So we'll be moving further to the liver. The liver is one of the largest organs in the body, and in fact it's one of the heaviest organs of the body. The liver performs many vital functions, including maintenance of the protein, concentration of protein in the body, maintenance of glucose, maintenance of salt concentration, maintenance of heat, and so many other functions. Now let's talk about the structure of the liver. The liver is a deep reddish organ that is found immediately below the diaphragm, and it is composed of several lobes, which are also subdivided into smaller lobes. Now it is in these lobes that the liver carries out many of its functions. Another structure that we find in the liver is what is known as the gallbladder. This gallbladder produces bile, which helps in the digestion of fats. Now, what are the functions of the liver? First function of the liver is that it regulates the sugar content or the glucose content of the body. When glucose concentration is high in the blood, the liver releases an hormone called insulin. What insulin does is that it stimulates the storage of glucose as fat in the body, in some organs, and as glycogen in the muscles. Meanwhile, when sugar concentration in the blood is lower than it should be, the liver stimulates the release of the hormone known as glucagon. And what glucagon does is that it reconverts this fat and glycogen back to glucose so that the body can use up the glucose. Another thing the liver does is that it takes care of the concentration of protein in the body. How it does this is through the deamination of protein. When the concentration of protein is high, or when protein has been used up, it is sent to the liver where it is destroyed, and the harmful ammonia part of the protein is now converted into harmless urea, where it is transported to the kidney for excretion. Another thing the liver does is that it helps to store blood. After blood has been produced and blood is in excess in the body, the liver helps to store this important tissue to life. Another function the liver performs is detoxification of harmful products. For example, when we take our drugs and the drugs have finished doing their work, they are sent to the liver where they are destroyed and converted to less harmful products that can further be excreted out of the body. And that thing the liver does is that it helps in the production of blood cells. Also, the liver helps in the digestion of fats through the production of bile by the gallbladder. The liver is also responsible for the production of many hormones that help to regulate the internal environment also of living organisms. Now let's talk about the skin. The skin is the largest organ of the body, and the skin covers all over the body. It's the external covering of the body. So you can know by far that it is by far the largest organ of the body. The skin is composed of two major layers, the epidermis and the epiderm and the endoderm. Now the epiderm consists of dead cells. Like skin cells that are dead are added to the epiderm, and then while the endoderm consists of so many other cells, including the hair follicle, the hair roots, and many other cells like that. Now, the functions of the skin are much, but the major function of the skin is that it helps to regulate the temperature of the body, and it does that through what is known as the sweat glands that are located on the surface of the skin. When an organism is in a hot environment, the skin stimulates the release of water or sweat through the pores, which in turn cools the skin or cools the body and reduces the internal temperature. You should know that the internal temperature or the standard temperature of human beings is 37 degrees Celsius. On the other hand, when placed in a cold environment, the skin contracts, that the sweat pore contracts and stops the release of water into the environment. Another function of the skin is that it serves as an excretory organ through which the body can excrete salts, water, and oils. Another function of the skin is that it protects sensitive organs in the body. For example, the skin covers the kidney, the liver, and the heart, and so many other sensitive organs in the body, preventing them from external damage. Another function is that the skin, on sunny mornings, synthesizes vitamin D, which is necessary for the absorption of fats and strengthening the bones. Finally, the skin of the mammary glands of females produces milk for feeding the children, for feeding their children. And with that, we've come to the end of functions of the skin. Now it's time to treat some past questions from SSCE. This question states, what is homeostasis? Homeostasis is defined as the maintenance of a fairly constant internal environment in living organisms. And I mentioned earlier that those factors that need to be kept fairly constant include temperature, pH, salt concentration, and protein concentration, and even glucose concentration. Now, the second question states, mention 5 parts of the body that are involved in homeostasis. And these parts include the glands, that's the hormonal glands, the liver, the kidney, the skin, and the brain. You should know that the brain controls all activities of other parts of the body. The next question states, list 4 functions of the skin. And the best way to answer it is by listing the 4 major functions of the skin. And they include maintenance of the temperature of the body, excretion of waste products in the body, protection of sensitive organs of the body, and production of vitamin D. Another question is, list 5 ways of caring for the skin. The skin, as you know, is a very important organ and needs to be taken care of, being the external organ of the body. And it can be cared for by having a bath at least twice daily, avoiding harmful chemicals on the body, on your skin. For example, excessive use of bleaching creams and so on. Now, the third one is moisturization of your skin. You have to prevent your skin from being dry as it leads to irritation. Make sure your skin is well moisturized at all times. Fourth, ensure proper treatment of injuries to prevent infections. And finally, ensure a proper diet rich in vitamins and minerals to maintain a healthy skin. And with this, we've come to the end of the topic homeostasis. Endeavor to read the notes beneath, also the advisory notes, and take part in the quiz to strengthen your knowledge on the topic. See you next time.